Harold Fannin Jr. 6'3", 240. This guy, we're talking about tight ends who like to block. This is not one of them. This is more of a fun kind of a guy to have. So two-way athlete, a little background around him. Two-way athlete coming out of high school. He was a defensive back and wide receiver and kick returner. All-state honors coming out of high school. He had posted excess of 100 tackles with 6 forced fumbles, 4 fumble recoveries, and 2 interceptions over his senior season. As a receiver, Fannin logged more than 600 yards and 8 total scores his senior season in high school. Despite his versatility, he failed to garner much attention to the recruiting scene and was unranked prior to enrolling at Bowling Green State, where he was then given a scholarship and then converted him to tight end. So kind of an underdog story. Guy wasn't recruited at all. Kind of bet on himself going to Bowling Green State, becoming the guy there, but went from wide receiver DB type body type to tight end. I think he still has that wide receiver DB kind of body type. But I'm just looking at some of the positives and negatives to Harold Fannin Jr. Positives, delightful versatility as an offensive weapon, winning routes from the slot, executing design touches as well. Very good hands, good concentration, catches balls in high traffic areas, run after catch, contact skills, and creates a lot of chunk plays. So he wants some yak. He's that kind of guy to do that. Much like the kind of Elijah Arroyo that I liked a couple weeks back. Negatives will likely be a non-factor in the blocking elements, which we just talked about, particularly pass protection. So that's kind of a knock. Would ideally be a bit more explosive for a player. Would ideally be a bit more explosive for a player of his stature. So while he does have a lot of explosive plays, one of the knocks against him was his stature. He should be more of an explosive kind of guy, which is interesting. And separation against physical man cover defenders may be a work in progress in the pros. So not the best when you're a small guy. You have a hard time getting off man coverage, which is interesting. Slated to go in rounds 3 to 4, as I've seen some experts have him at. And also, just another nugget here, as of last week, he said that he's already had a visit with the Kansas City Chiefs. So there is interest there with the team. So what are your guys' thoughts on Harold Fannin Jr.?
Athletic guy, can catch the daggone football. He can play some ball. Decent athlete. I think he has a really weird gait, the way he runs. Maybe that's where the speed and the quickness kind of comes. It looks a little funky. He's like a little duck feet out here running. I'm like, it's just, I don't know. It's just, and that's what I'm kind of watching as far as some of the things that he does. But, like you said, undersized guy, 6'3", 241. When I'm looking at explosion, right, and I'm looking at his combine results, he runs a 4.7, which is not bad at all. It's great. Vertical jump 34, broad jump 9.10. It's not explosion whatsoever. And so that's one of the things I look at, because it's like, man, you're jumping out of your shoes, you catch football, like the quickness. That's explosion. That's what that's a great measure for it. So I always like looking at guys in 10s and shoot. If you ain't got at least a 36, on your vert, man, what are you doing? Shoot, he said he hooped too? He was a hooper?
Yeah. Oh no, he was not. I didn't see if he was a hooper or not. He was a two-way athlete, so he played DB and receiver in high school.
Yeah, he looks like a DB.
Yeah,
he looks like a DB in that picture. Look at him. He's like a cornerback right there.
That's true. Mm-hmm. It does look like that.
I just look at a tight end in that picture at all.
Mm-mm. So he's one of those guys. I think that you probably had to get him earlier, kind of in the draft and something like that. Nothing wrong with that style of running, kick, and punt returner. Oh man, look, hey, shoot. If he can do it and he could survive in the NFL, shoot, they'd love to have it. But I think he's a good player. I had to go back and look at him, keep looking at him again, look at him, and see how everything's going to translate into the NFL, kind of with him. I think that would be his primary thing, to come in and catch footballs. That would be it. Like you said, he's not gonna come in. He ain't gonna put his finger on nobody to stop him. So it's just not his forte. Yeah, it's not his forte.
No.
So yeah. Sound like he hates squats. Yeah, y'all like, hey, Harold, where's Harold at? Tell him he got a set left. Where's he at?
Yeah, looks like he's got some stick legs there too, just based on that. Obviously, it's a terrible angle, but it doesn't.
I'm actually a little surprised by his 40 time.
About 4.7.
Undersized tight end, I wanted to be faster.
I mean, the joke was 6'3", 241. He ought to be. I mean, but 4.71, man. Look, I ran a 4.7 at the combine, and I had some funky shoes.
You were 6'3", 240, JD. What were you with the combine?
Yeah, when I got pro day, without a doubt. And I had some big old clumpy shoes. I bought these like the day before, the night before. I had definitely wasn't no run-in shoes.
Man,
brand new.
You were shopping at James Pierce store, huh?
Yeah, breaking in.
Forgot that shirt, huh?
Yeah, man, shoot, we just had, we didn't have things at EKU, brother.
I know. I'm just kidding.
Hey, I try to run without my shoes on. You can't do it. You can put some shoes on. I said, all
right. You were like Willie Mays Hayes for Major League, man. You woke up in the parking lot, just took off and beat the guy there, huh?
Hey, I was ready, man. I jumped out with a 4.7 out my what's name right out the bed. That was another thing. I'm just like, maybe the first one's running for the day. It's like, gee. So, but in that, 4.7 ain't bad for a guy, tight end, for him. I think the quickness and stuff really is more of a measure, especially at that position. What a guy.
He's a little stiff.
Yeah. Yeah.
He shouldn't be if you're going to be an undersized tight end, you gotta be quick with it and agile.
Yes.
Like that's gotta be one of your calling cards. To be a stiff tight end and be like undersized, it's weird.
Looking at the tight end from Auburn, that sucker looks like a daggone Greek god. I can't think his name, but that joker, shoot. I was watching him. I'm just like, this sucker right here is athletic. I don't know why they didn't throw him the football. I don't know what went on. I want a little bit more of the story on him.
Mary Alston, is that his name?
No.
No? McKinney?
No. That joker's got like an African name, I think.
Agumawa?
Yeah, him.
No, I'm sorry, that's wrong. That's their coach, I think.
No, it's an African name. I know that. Shoot, man, hold on. I had him up here. But anyway, going back to Fannin Jr., he's going to be a pass catcher. That's what they're going to utilize him for. They're going to move him around, catch the football, get up the field. He's going to be productive. He is catching the football. So
it's Rivaldo Fairweather.
Rivaldo Fairweather. Yeah, maybe not African. Rivaldo Fairweather. Why was I thinking that? But that joker right there, man, seriously.
Man, yeah, he's a big boy.
You see him? Yo, I was like, man, who was this dude? I'm telling you, I was combing through, a couple of guys. This dude, man.
Yeah. Yeah, but Fannin, I mean, he's pretty versatile. You're gonna put him up.
Thick.
Yeah, he's built for real. And you watch him play, he's explosive. And sometimes what I'll be wondering sometimes, man, some of these, and that's why I like when I look at, the tight end ratings, some of the guys they had rated up here high and stuff. I'm just like, I don't know if I quite agree with this list that he got, but
yeah. Fannin's got good versatility. He played H-back, backfield, slot. Good hands. He does have in-game speed. Not a great route tree, and I saw that someone attribute that to his lack of bend. He just doesn't have that wiggle and shake to be able to have all these routes in his repertoire. And he's got a hard time beating press too, and that's a combination of not being able to beat press and not being a good blocker and not having a good route tree. It's gonna hurt, man. It's gonna hurt big time. His player comps were interesting because he's a little undersized. Isaiah Likely, but Likely's a big dude, isn't he? He plays big. I mean,
Like, what's height wise or like weight wise?
no height. Wasn't likely tall. Isn't likely tall.
I don't know.
The other one was Juwan Johnson, who I think is also pretty tall.
Likely is 6'4", 247.
Okay, it's not that. It's pretty close then.
He got a little funny running style too.
Hey, yeah, it's a good comp then.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, Juwan Johnson's also 6'4".
Okay. Pretty good comps then.
Mm-hmm.
As far as size. I see that.
Isaiah Likely will hit you though.
He plays real physical. Yeah.
He
That's
does.
the difference.
Yeah.
He plays pretty physical.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a little mean straight to him. But I guess I see that.
Yeah. So if that's a good comp. You know, something like Isaiah Likely, if he get that. I mean, you got 117 receptions for 1,500 yards. My goodness.
Yeah, and also they use him out of the backfield, 9 carries, 65 yards.
Well, Isaiah Likely was like a 4th-round pick.
He actually slipped in that draft. He actually should have been higher. I remember he slipped all the way down.
I mean, maybe Fannin does too.
Maybe. Yeah. Also, I have seen some Chief fans kind of weary about drafting Fannin because he comes from Bowling Green State. The MAC, another pass catcher, came from the MAC a couple years ago. Sky Moore.
Are you kidding?
Some fans are weary of drafting a pass catcher from the MAC.
That's silly. That's silly.
Nah, man, return of the MAC. Come on now.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.